Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I hope you enjoy this video. I also hope that you subscribe to my channel. So today's video, I actually am showing you something I figured out by accident. So I have some acrylic, this is Young Nails acrylic, and then I have some dual forms that I got from I believe it was it is Model Ones, but I believe it was in one of their kits with polygel that the dual forms came in. So you can look on their website. They also sell them separately. Um, so first I'm just prepping the nails. I've already pushed back the cuticles, etched the surface of the nail. So I'm just going in with some dehydrator by Model Ones and then some primer by Young Nails. So I saw a video by Christina Couture, and she had did a really pretty set of acrylic nails using her dual forms, and I was like, oh, I could do that. I did try this a long time ago, and they came out okay. So I'm a little bit better now, so I wanted to try it again. And so I did do my right hand off camera, and it didn't turn out like Christina's. But I did figure out a way that you can sculpt some nail tips. So say you don't have paper forms, or you don't like paper forms, but you're out of tips, you can use this method to create the base of your nail or your nail tip. So my acrylic might look a little stiff in this video. It's literally 90 degrees. The day that I recorded it, it was 90 degrees. And because I'm working with acrylic, I did have the windows open. So I didn't have my air conditioner on. So my acrylic was setting really fast. I tried to work a little bit wetter, but it was just setting really fast, which is fine. So essentially what you want to do is just fill up the dual form with acrylic, and you want to put a good amount so it covers evenly. So try and get that from side to side on the dual form, and then get that coverage evenly. Because I wanted longer nails, I didn't start all the nails at the cuticle area. Some of them I did, some of them I didn't. Also, I don't always start at the cuticle area either, because one, I might want a little bit more length, or two, the dual forms might not fit my cuticle area perfectly. So if you have that situation, you can just start a little bit above the cuticle area, and once you pop off the dual form, you can just add a little bit more acrylic to that area that wasn't covered. So once I add the acrylic to the dual form, I place that on the nail, and then I turn the nail over. I smooth out the acrylic that's already there as much as possible, and if I want to add a little bit more length, then I just add that to the tip of the dual form. So it actually was easy. It wasn't easy to create the whole nail with the dual forms. However, it was easy, just keeping in mind I'm just creating the base of my nail or my nail tip. The reason I chose these forms, because I do have forms that are longer with a deeper well, is because these are straight. A lot of the dual forms are curved, so I like these because I don't like curved nails. So I like these because they don't make the nails curved, and I could still make my I can still create my C curve when I use these dual forms. So if I use the curved ones that she used, I probably could create the full nail, but then at the same time I would have a curved nail, which I didn't like, which I don't like personally. So yeah, so it was pretty simple. Again, just apply the acrylic to the dual forms, and you want to make sure that you do put it on the nail before the acrylic sets, which I did have to move a little bit quicker because this acrylic was setting pretty fast. So once I have all of the undersides taken care of, added additional acrylic for length or what have you, I'm going to pop off the first couple of dual forms, because now those are dry, and I'm just gonna let the other two nails dry. And what you want to do here is, so say It's the same thought process of when you apply the tip. You want to shape the tip, and then you want to etch the surface of the tip. So wherever there was acrylic, I did etch that surface so I can go ahead and finish my application. And then I just shaped the tips to my liking. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's a pretty simple process. I did leave a little bit of filing in here. There is some points where I do go off camera, and you could see I did show the nail from the side. The nail it's pretty thin. So I don't know of any brands that do straight dual forms that have a deeper well, but yeah, it turned out fine if I just use this to create the tips of the nail. And I actually like how the tips turned out. Like I said, I figured this out by accident, and that was doing my right hand. So at first I wasn't gonna film it, but then I'm like, let me just go ahead and film this other hand. And I don't know, maybe someone won't have tips, or maybe someone doesn't like the paper form. So that's why I recorded the video. So after you just want to blend in the acrylic that's there, and make sure that anything that's spilt out and didn't adhere to the nail, that you file that off. So you just want to, exactly what I said earlier, mimic how if you were to apply nail tips to your nail, just etch that surface. So now I'm just going to go in and add some acrylic. And I don't have a method for adding acrylic. I just get it on the nail and try and build me a secret, try and build my apex. Like I said, it was pretty warm. I had the windows open, so the acrylic was setting a lot faster than it normally does. And this is Young Nails in the Core Clear, and then I'm also using their monomer, which usually gives you enough time to, yeah, so it usually gives you enough time to work with the acrylic. So a medium setting acrylic system. So I'm just going to apply the acrylic to all the nails, and because I'm using a lot of beads, I like to do my best to look at the nail from the different angles, place my apex where it should be, or where I think it should be, and just definitely just look at the nail from all different angles. If there's any dips in the nail, I like to do my very best to blend the acrylic. And I know I'm not the best at applying acrylic. That's not the point of the video. So let's keep our comments that may be negative to ourselves. But if you're just so inclined to leave a negative comment, go for it, sis. But yeah, so I'm just trying also to make sure that I don't let the acrylic dry on my skin. Like I said, it was really, really warm, so I tried to work a little bit wetter, and trying to work wetter, and then trying to keep that where it's supposed to be, and then trying to keep the liquid to powder ratios. So needless to say, this was not the funnest set to do, but it's just additional progress, additional steps forward in learning how my acrylic works. I think one thing that could possibly be useful is possibly working with the same system. I do tend to keep my monomers and my acrylics together, but I do go back and forth between Mia Secret, the odorless monomer, the fusion monomer, which I just did a video on, and I will link that for you above in the cards. And then I use the Mia Secret, the regular monomer with acrylic, and then I use the Young Nails with their acrylic. So I'm using 3 different types of monomer, and they're not all the same. So maybe it would be helpful for me if I just kind of like stuck with one, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. Like, when you were first learning acrylic, what systems did you use? Did you use multiple systems when you were learning? Sometimes I like to use the odorless monomer. Say if I have my air conditioner on, I'll just go ahead and use the odorless instead of opening a window and letting all the cool air go out of the house. I don't know, but sometimes it's just a mood I'm in, also, depending on what acrylic I work with. Anyways, I am rambling. So let me know in the comments down below when you first started, or if you're a beginner like myself, what system do you work with? Do you work with multiple systems? Let me know. Also, what was the best way? What was the fastest way you really learned your liquid powder ratio outside of practicing? I'm just wondering about the consistency of using the same product. So I'm going to finish laying this acrylic, and then I will come back and chat with you about the design. Okay, so these are the nails after I have applied all the acrylic. I'm going to buff and shape them. This is the inspiration that I use for my design today, and that is from Miss On Fleeks Nails, and I will link her information down below. So I have buffed, file shaped, all that fun stuff. I actually washed all the dust off. I went and washed my hands, and then when I came back, I cleaned off the surface of the nail with alcohol. The colors I'm using are Madam Glam and Jungle Beat, Perfect White, Azure Beauty, that was the black, and then the orange is by Venalisa, and that is color 907. Venalisa makes some really good polishes. It's not a very popular brand, but it is really inexpensive, and they make some really good quality gel pots as well as their gel polishes. So I'm using Madam Glam's top and base coat for this design as well. For me, I like to use the base coat before I apply my polish because I get a better application. Some people use primer, some people don't use anything. It's probably just a preference. I don't know if it matters. I've done all three different ways, not using anything, using a primer, and using a base coat. Don't get any chipping or peeling of the polish from the acrylic, or if I'm using polygel or gel. What I found is it just makes a difference on the application. So I like the how it applies over base coat the best. So I'm just going to do 2 coats of the polishes, and before I cure, I'm going to do my absolute best to get all of that gel off of my skin. And it's really important you do this because if it gets under the skin, like under the nail could lift, which actually is something that happened to my thumb, which is why you don't see me doing my thumb in this video. So I think what I did was cure the polish. I put it on too thick. It ran under the skin. And then I did end up cleaning it out. But now I have a nail that's lifted. So that's why you don't see me doing that nail. So that nail has lifted and I'm just letting it grow out. So that's why in my most recent videos you've seen either a band-aid over the thumb or what's on my thumb now. But yeah, just make sure that you're going in with layers as thin as you possibly can, and make sure that gel polish doesn't get underneath the nail, because you're going to want to clean it once you see it. You're going to want to pick it out or whatever, and then you could cut yourself and get an infection, or it could cause the nail to lift off of the skin, which is really ugly and disappointing because I only have 4 nails on this hand. Well, I have 5 nails, but I'm not going to put any acrylic or anything on top of that nail until it grows out. So I'm just going in with the gel polish and a detailer brush, and just putting little lines on the nail. Like I said, this design was inspired by On Fleeks Nails. I didn't do it exactly like she did, but what I really liked was the color palette that she used. So I'm just going to add some random lines on just one side of the nail. And what I should have done is I should have flash cured it, because you'll see when I used that jungle beat and that black, they kind of ran together on the orange nail, but it really didn't matter. But if you want to just pop your nail in the lamp for a few seconds after you add each color, 10-15 seconds, you can do that as well, or you can just do the entire design. And I am using a little bit thicker of, I'm using a bigger amount. These lines are a little bit thicker. So what you can do is encapsulate that with a thicker layer of base coat or a couple layers of top coat. I just did 1 top coat, but I can fill the lines, but it doesn't really bother me because it's like on the inner part of the nail. So it didn't really bother me that those 2 nails are textured. If you are going to be adding a gel polish design and you're not going to work as thin as you should, if you're going to work how I am, working a little bit thicker, you might want to do that nail a little bit thinner. You just want to be cautious that you are going to have the ridges and you can possibly lose the shape of your nail by adding that thickness of polish, or even if you encapsulate it, you might lose the shape of your nail. So just be careful of that. And this is where I added the glitter. I did have to add more to the design. Something was missing, but I looked at her picture and I think she did have gold in her picture as well. Gonna go in with a medium amount of top coat. You could do a thin layer, thick layer, whatever you want. Just be aware that the more polish you use, the more chance you have of losing the shape of your nail. So overall, I like how this set turned out. I really, really love orange on my skin. Yep, this is my interpretation of her design. So I will link her information below. Check her out. I'll link her YouTube channel down below, so check her out. This is the finished design. I really, again, like this color. I think these turned out cute. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Also, make sure you've liked this video, and I will see you ladies and gents again soon for another video. Thank you so much for watching.